This is the pattern. You will find this pattern at my Patreon Sew for Kids. Copy the size you're interested in. I am using a cotton jersey fabric. On one of the sides you fold a piece so you can fit the pattern on the fold. Make sure you have folded it straight, and then you pin your pattern right on the fold. Then I add 1 centimeter in seam allowance and cut. Do the same on the other side with the other piece. When you're cutting these smaller sizes, you should fit your sleeve in between. So you fold up the fabric like this, and you should fit your sleeve piece. Make sure that you have it straight according to the arrow. Add 1 centimeter in seam allowance. Make notches with a pair of scissors where you see the markings. All the folded lines should also be marked with a small notch in the seam allowance. In some fabrics you might have to mark which is the wrong side so you don't get confused. Lay the front and back piece right sides together and pin the shoulders. You should sew with 1 centimeter in seam allowance and using a elastic seam. Trim away any excess fabric and then you can press the seams towards the back piece. Cut the piece for the neck cuff, and this should be cut on the fold, and make sure that it is stretchy in the correct way, and this piece do not have to have any added seam allowance. Always mark the folded line. Start by laying the fabric right sides together and sew this short edge. Make a notch in the seam allowance on this short edge in the center so you can turn the seam allowances in either way. Press it and then you fold it on the middle all the way around the circle. Press it. Pin it right sides together, edge to edge. The seam should be matched up with your notch in the back, and you should have the center front where you pressed according to your front notch. And then you can pin some more, and you should stretch it when you sew all the way around. trim away any excess fabric, and then you should press the seam allowance so it's always facing down. Now your shirt is right sides up and you see the armhole. You take a sleeve and you lay it right sides together like this, and you match up your notch with the shoulder, and then you take the corners and pin them, and then you try to match up the rest edge to edge, and then you sew with an elastic seam and 1 centimeter in seam allowance. Once the sleeve is in place, you can lay your shirt right sides together, and you should pin the sleeve side and the side of the shirt and sew it all in the same time. Press the seams towards the back piece, and then you can try it on and decide how short your sleeves and your shirt should be. I try to fold with 2 centimeters towards the wrong side all the way around the sleeve. Press it. Do the same at the bottom of your t-shirt, and then I'm going to hem it with a twin needle. And when you hem with a twin needle, you always have to have the right sides up, because on the wrong side it will not look nice. And once you have pressed your t-shirt, it is finished. Go and check out my Patreon Sew for Kids. You will find much more patterns and sewing ideas.